Okay, hey everybody. Mike here with Mitch. Say hi, Mitch.
Hello.
We're doing a quick take on the VP debate today. Today we're doing a quick take on the VP debate last Tuesday night. I'll offer my quick impressions, and Mitch is going to talk about his, and then we'll talk about it a little bit and sign off after about 5 or 10 minutes to keep this one short. Uh, Unlike the debate with Harris and He Who Shall Not Be Named last month. I watched this one at home with my wife rather than in a bar with a bunch of like-minded Democrats. And not quite the same vibe at home watching it with just the two of us. And I think that matches with kind of the general impression that I've caught online that it was much more low key and, if anything, boring about debates used to be, or at least we call them debates for what that's worth. My first take on it was that Vance was more polished, smooth, slick, and Waltz was much better on substance. So up until the very last, I kind of was rating it as a draw. But then in retrospect, when Vance waffled around the question of who won the 2020 election, and he would not answer Walls's direct question about who won, and Walls came back with that's a pretty damning non-answer. My impression was that kind of shattered this persona that Vance had put on, and just knocked a hole in his credibility completely. So on that score, I think Walls came out better. But again, if you look at the old quote, I forget who said it, that the office of VP is about as worthless as a bucket of warm spit. You kind of have to put VP debates in the same category, that they're probably not going to move the election very much. Although I did hear one person make the interesting comment, one of the talking heads on TV, that by the orange one not agreeing to a second debate with Harris, that he's letting Vance have the last word for their campaign, which was not necessarily a great idea, I think. Uh, a lot of opinions kind of made it, offer the impression that Vance was as much in it for himself to make himself look good as he was to make his boss look good. So the other thing that I actually posted about on Facebook a couple of times is uh, Vance seems to think that Harris has been the president for the last 4 years. I kind of forget, blaming everything that we have now on Harris. Not that where we are is bad, but the VP doesn't set policy, the VP doesn't sign bills, the VP doesn't do executive orders, the VP basically supports the president's agenda. So, I'm sure that attack landed home with some people, but I myself thought it was pretty weak. So, Mitch, your impression.
Well, I guess I pretty much agree with everything that you said. Yeah, everybody out there in TV land, what is it? Can you still call it that?
Radio.
The yeah the expert on politics here is and lead for us on political insights is Mike Rollins, who could tell you a little bit about his background so that you have a little proper respect. Can you tell us a little bit about your political?
Well, I wouldn't fashion myself a great expert, but I've been involved in party politics for, yeesh, at least since before the Kerry campaign. Precinct chair for 10 years here in Collin County and county chair for 8 years. Collin County is the first county north of Dallas County. Population just topped 1 million in the 2020 census. So bigger population wise than quite a few of the states in the country. We've been trending blue for as long as I've been active. We were in the 20% range in actually in the governor's election in '98. The vote results here were 85% for the Republican, which is George W. Bush, who many of us call Shrub, and 15% for former ag commissioner, and I even forget his name, running as a Democrat. That got up to, I think in 2020, Biden just lost the Collin County vote to the other guy by like 5 points. So we went from the teens up into the high 40s. This county is about ready to flip actually on a countywide vote. It might do it this cycle. I'm not sure or not, but the state house races, county commissioners districts are so gerrymandered here that we probably won't flip anything else for a while, although we do have one state rep that's finally a Democrat. But anyway, very active in all kinds of party operations, and now in my third term on the Texas State Democratic Executive Committee, was vice president of the Texas Democratic County Chairs Association for 4 years. Know a lot of people in both the urban and the rural parts of Texas. So that's me.
Yeah. And for those out there who are watching our channel, again, if you're communicating inside your mind, you're a mystic, that's really our take on it. And if you're using empathy and awareness connected to your needs and to the needs of others, that's a good way to communicate. And that is at the core of progressive politics and at the core of better communication, especially within yourself. And there can also be some healing attached.
Right.
Yeah. So, there's benefits, and there's different takes on how to do this. And, there's big benefits to meditation and a very consistent practitioner of forms of meditation. Well, that would be Mike Rollins. And I have done that too a little bit. I'm wondering on your take on what stood out to me in the debate was this frown on Walz's face, where he's like this.
I've seen him do it, seen a lot of pictures of him like that.
Yeah.
I can't quite figure it. I know there's a lot of older men who are that way. They just, that's kind of their face is frozen that way. I don't know. I think that's his serious look, his earnest look. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, my projection onto it was that I thought that he was very unhappy talking to an absolute liar. And, every now and then he was at that Midwestern kind of politeness where, and a real attachment to truth.
Right.
He tried to do a little bit of what the other guy did when they asked him about Tiananmen Square, but, he just couldn't. He just said, okay, I made a mistake, which was refreshing. And it's not something you would ever hear from Trump or Vance.
No. Yeah, I think, looking at it more the nonverbal and emotional aspects of the debate, and just kind of the quality of their interactions. I think, like I said earlier, a lot of people commented it was more cordial. Um, and I agree with that. Part of my impression of Vance was that, part of his slickness is he came across trying to sound reasonable, like, I'm sure my friend here feels the same way about this, whatever. But there was a certain feeling to me that came across as much phony as sincere. Whereas Waltz looked a little nervous, but you could tell that. I mean, for me, looking at Waltz, what you see is what you get. I mean, he is not acting on anything. You're seeing Tim Waltz up there, um, and he just has this sort of, gregarious dad next door neighbor, you want to count on to borrow the lawnmower or something. All the memes, he's the guy who'll fix your car. Uh, that's kind of who he came off as in the debate. So there's that too.
Yeah, I felt that too. It's like my thought was, who would I want to live next door to?
There you go.
Yeah. And when he would turn, what really got me with it, he would really intensify that look, and
I think he just froze up, Mitch.
like he would like turn, and when oh,
Yeah, you're
okay,
okay
and
now.
tell me when it's low bandwidth. And I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when Vance would go really off the rails lying, uh, Walls would turn and look at him with like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he just froze again.
And it's like he would turn around and his Midwestern, be polite, find the common ground, which I think, really stood out with him. He
Yeah.
was really trying to do that.
Yeah, I heard somebody else make a comment which I thought was pretty good, kind of along those lines. That his job was not to destroy JD Vance. His job was to make Harris look good.
Mhm.
And I think that was a pretty good comment too. Anyway, well, we wanted to keep this short, so I think that about sums it up for my impressions. You have anything else to add, Mitch?
Well, not really. So I mean, it's I think it. I think the one other take was that as I've been watching, I know you have too, the comments about the debate. I
Mhm.
think those really stood out in favor of Walls,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think okay, that's it. That's all that we both thought that. So
All right. Well, may the road rise to meet you, and I'll live long and prosper.
yeah.
Thank you later.